Hello, in this video we're going to take a look at the assignment in Unit 3, Activity 5. And since this is our final activity of Unit 3, this is our summative assignment, and so it is worth the most marks. So I would strongly suggest, as I do at the top here, that you make sure that you fully understand the questions that I'm asking you to answer in this assignment, and that you fully understand the assignment's requirements. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. As always, you see your Dropbox link right here, so once you've completed the assignment, you can submit it right here. But if we start with the assignment instructions, this assignment is going to be broken up into two parts. So you've got Part 1 and Part 2. You have to complete both parts in order to complete the assignment. And by answering the questions in Part 1 and 2, you're going to hopefully demonstrate your understanding of the novella's themes, characters, and events one last time. So your answers need to be written in complete sentences, which is usual. And I would suggest that 10 to 12 sentences will be needed to answer each of the parts. So you're going to have Part 1, I would say 10 to 12 sentences are needed to fully answer the questions. Part 2, again, another 10 to 12 sentences are probably needed to fully answer the questions. There is no specific structure that I'm requiring when you answer the questions, so I'm not looking for an essay structure, or I'm not necessarily asking you to write a specific style of paragraph. You can break up your answers to the questions as you see fit. Okay, so some of you might find it easier to answer the questions by breaking up your answers into 2 or 3 paragraphs or 2 or 3 sections, whereas some of you might find it easier to write your answers in one big paragraph or section. I'm leaving that up to you, but what you do need to make sure that you do is that you directly address the intended questions, that you provide supporting reasons and examples, and that you write complete sentences. So that's the basic requirements. You do have to use your own words and opinions when answering the questions. Do not include words or opinions that you get from other websites or from sources outside of this course. The only source you should need is the content of this course, so the lessons or the activities in Unit 3, and the novella itself. If you want, you can include a couple of quotations from the novella as supporting evidence in your answers. You don't have to use direct quotes. You can write your examples in your own words. But aside from a couple of direct quotes from the novella, if you choose to include them, everything else needs to be written in your own words. Okay. If you have questions, contact me and I can help further explain the assignment, but this is a summative assignment, so I can't look at your work and review it and give you feedback before you submit this assignment. In this particular assignment, you got to show me that you can kind of do it on your own. Okay. At the bottom of this page, you will see the rubric, which will provide the grading criteria for how you'll be graded on Part 1 and Part 2 of this assignment. So if we actually get to Part 1 and 2 and we get to the actual questions, Part 1 is titled Public Responsibility. And this is something that hopefully you've just read about in the content page of this activity. So it says, in Animal Farm, Napoleon takes control of the farm and becomes a terrible dictator. George Orwell is suggesting, though, that the other animals on the farm are responsible for allowing this to happen. He is also suggesting that the general public in real life is responsible for the bad behavior of its governments and leaders. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with Orwell that the animals are responsible for what happened to them in the novel, or in the novella? And do you believe that it is our responsibility, the general public's responsibility, for the bad behavior of our governments and leaders in the real world? So I've broken this part up into 2 questions here, and just to kind of repeat, it says, are the animals on the farm responsible for Napoleon's actions in the novella? Why or why not? Include 2 specific examples from chapters 1 to 9, so anywhere in the first 9 chapters you can find examples to support your opinion. So again, is it fair to say that the other animals on the farm are at least partially responsible for Napoleon taking over and becoming a dictator. And then we're going to take this to the real world. Is the general public responsible for the bad behavior of its government and leaders in the real world? Why or why not? Include 2 specific examples from the real world to support your opinion. Essentially, I'm asking you to answer 2 questions. And as I say in this important note, you must answer both of the above questions. So when I say the 2 questions, I mean this question right here about Animal Farm and this question right here about the real world. Okay? They're both on the same general topic. Should the people be responsible for their leaders and their bad behavior? We're just applying that to the book and to the real world. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please let me know. For part 2, I'm going to ask you about the ending of Animal Farm. And so it says, fully explain your opinion on the ending of Animal Farm. Was the ending of the book satisfying for you? Would you have preferred that the book have a different ending? So this is entirely your point of view and your opinion that I'm asking for here. If you agree with the way Orwell ended the novella, fully explain 3 reasons why the ending was appropriate. If you do not agree with the way Orwell ended the novella, fully explain 3 reasons why you dislike the ending. So again, it's your choice. As I say down here in the note, you are not writing 2 opinions. Either explain why you agree with the ending or disagree with the ending. So contrary to this one up here, where you're answering kind of 2 separate questions that are kind of on the same general theme, in this question, you're just answering one of these 2, right? So you're either agreeing or you're disagreeing. Okay, you have to provide 3 reasons either way, and you have to provide at least 3 specific examples from chapter 10, which is the ending of the novel or the novella, to support your points. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to answer the questions in both part 1 and part 2. Please clearly label the different parts because they're 2 different or separate questions, but please clearly label them when you write out your answers. And in terms of how they'll be graded, I'll use the same rubric twice to grade part 1 and part 2. So you can take a look here. I'm going to be checking for your ability to use specific examples to support yourself. I'm going to be looking at your ability to explain your supporting reasons. I'm going to be looking at your language use and the clarity of your points, and I'm going to be looking at your spelling and grammar. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know. This is going to wrap up Unit 3 for us.